So hello friends, welcome back to my channel, and today let's discuss about VLSI testing. So basically this will be the introduction to VLSI testing lecture 1. So let's get into it. So basically before going to testing, let's see what are the different things that present in that VLSI. So these are actually, it was classified into 4 categories here, and based on the number of integrated chips, like transistors or that MOSFETs that present in the unit area. So when it comes to SSI means small scale integration, MSI is medium scale integration, LSI is large scale integration, and VLSI is very large scale integration. So in small scale integration, there will be one chip integrated is on one chip, basically only one transistor that will be integrated in a one chip, and the chip is that IC. Okay, and in further days, what happened due to that, what happened was they have improved the like the work, like they have improved the work that an IC can do, and what they have done was they increased the number of transistors present in a single chip. In medium scale, in medium scale integration, they have introduced 10 transistors in a single chip, and moving further, they introduce a large scale integration where we use more than 100 transistors in a single chip, and now we are in the present very large scale integration, and there are also ultra large scale and so on, so forth. So in very large scale integrations, we use the more than thousands of transistors in a single chip. So by this, what happened, we can see that the number of transistors like exponentially got increased. So here what there was Moore's who proposed that a Moore's law that states that number of transistors in a single chip doubles for every 18 months. So like it's just an observation from the statistics. He observed that for every 18 months the number of transistors that are kept in a single chip was doubling. So for every technology, there will be a change in M transistor size. So here the technology will be defined as the distance between the source and the drain in the MOSFET, or we can say the channel. So the channel length. Okay, we call this that is like we call the channel length as technology in VLSI. So here like if you want to introduce more number of chips in like more number of transistors in a single chip, we need to definitely reduce the size of the transistor. That means directly it will affect the length of the channel. So as the number of number of transistors increasing in a single area, the technology will be decreasing. Okay, so rule of 10, this is like this rule of 10 is comes under basically it's like for the cost. Basically how it will defined is like if you have some strategy, okay, some test strategy is considered the beginning of the design. That means if you want to design some OR gate or something before manufacturing, that means before keeping on into a like for example circuit board, or like for example I have taken an AND gate or an IC. For example, let us take an op-amp, that is all to know. So 741, and have soldered it onto a PCB. After soldering, you found that it is fault. Then you want to desolder it, and you have to clean the board and all everything. Sometimes you need to replace the board itself. So that will cost more than the more. In the other scenario, if you found that the IC is already fault using the test boards available, and then you just replace, means the cost and the time will be less, because you no need to desolder again. So we previously only we got to know that it is fault, and we have detected it and replaced. So by the definition we can say, like if if a test strategy is considered at the beginning of the design, then the fault could be detected rapidly, located and eliminated at a very low cost. So when the when a faulty chip is soldered on a printed circuit board, the cost fault remedy would be multiplied by 10. So this is like it states that the cost to like fault like if you want to uh, unsolder it and all and you want to change it, the cost will be multiplied by 10. The fault remedy would be multiplied by 10. So let's come to the cycle, design cycle, VLSI design cycle. So basically these are the steps involved in while manufacturing or testing or like, so step by step these are the steps that are involved. So first it will be starting from the customer's need. The customer wants an OR gate, for example. So he said I need a like he says a statement that I need a circuit that like an IC which takes the input and sums and gives the output of their sum. So he'll tell a statement like that, and the designer will take like note it down and determine the required requirements. How can we make, what are the materials we need, and how much it will like that. So write the specifications, what are the properties of the taken, what you call, if that IC should be working at high temperatures. Definitely anyways we use only silicon. Why? Because it has very high resistance to temperature. Next we can also design like from that he knows the specifications, and then what he tries to design using the MOSFETs and all synthesis, and then he will verify that the output is coming correctly or not for all the test cases or even the test vectors. I will tell the test vectors in the next further classes. So the test development, okay. So the test development. After that, the fabrication part. The fabrication is like we are making the physical IC. Previously it is all the simulation or the designs that are made on a paper or something, or like just like a report, or we'll do the simulation in the softwares. But now we need to fabricate it. After the fabrication, manufacturing test. After that, fabricated chips should be tested. Okay, that is called manufacturing test. So this is done after the fabrication, that you should be remembering. Then after the finalized the chips that has passed the test will be sent to the customers. So next, in the blocks in VHDL means multiplexers is hardware. Okay, so it is like analogy where the blocks in VHDL very like VLSI description language. Okay, Verilog description, what you call hardware description language, which that is similar to the multiplexers in the hardware. In the real life components, it will be similar to the multiplexers, the blocks in Verilog VHDL. So the resistors in VHDL means flip-flops in the hardware. Next, designs can be made in the form of a code language. So either using Xilinx, okay, we can use Microwind or some what we call other tools like EDA tools or something. We can do the coding. Okay, that coding language can be very Verilog, System C, or VHDL or something. So in test development phase, designs will be there. Okay, less cost, less time, high fault coverage. So this is like testing is done. Okay, so how the testing should be there means the testing should take only less cost and the less time, and also high fault coverage. That means every possible fault can be detected using the testing process. Through the testing process, before fabricating, verification is done on the roll of 10, and the roll of 10 is already I told you previously. So for example, that rule of 10 is like can be used to estimate the cost if the fault is detected and if you want to rectify it, how much cost or something like that is done. And at initial stage itself, fault should be identified. I don't know at the initial, if we basically if we identify the fault at the initial stage before manufacturing itself, then according to the rule of 10 we can minimize the cost of reprogramming it or some like that, or to debug the code and identify the errors. If you didn't do the verification previously and after manufacturing only, if you done that means basically we are not making a single IC at a time. we will make some hundreds of ICs at a time, and because while manufacturing, that's the way of how they will do. So next, let's come to the after fabrication. We need to plan how the design is to be tested. So after fabrication, we need to plan how the design is to be tested. So here I told there will be some vectors. Okay, basically before going to the test vectors, just what are the vectors here? The vectors are the number of combinations that will be formed using the given inputs. For example, it is a two input IC, then or two input logic gate, then we'll have 2 power 2 input 2 power 2 vectors. If it is 3 input, 2 power 3, like that. For a 2 input, we'll get 4 vectors. Those are 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. Planned for which vector is used for testing. Okay, here see, by using by not I mean, here there are 4 vectors, right? Even with the 3 also we can go for verification. That means not all the vectors can be used or need to be used. Okay, not all the 4 vectors are need to be used. There are few vectors that can find all the faults in an IC. Those are called the test vectors. Okay, for example, this 0 1 and 1 0 are called the test vectors. That means only there is no need of 0 0 and 1 1. If 0 1 or 1 0 gets a fault, then definitely that IC is what you call, that IC is faulty. Okay, next, simulation is used to verify the design. Okay, that this is like a software to verify the design is correct or not. It is not for testing. Okay, next, failure mode. Okay, failure mode analysis. This failure mode analysis is like a FMA, where identifying where the exact failure is done. Okay, in the failure mode analysis, here everything will be processed. That's okay. Next, specification, architecture design, chip design, fabrication, and test. These are like this is a shorter version of this entire table, the miniature kind of flowchart here. So specifications, architectural design, chip design, fabrication, and test. So in the okay, so next is before fabricating, we will do verification. So this is what we have discussed already, that before basically when we come to the rule of 10, where we just before soldering we just check if the IC is working or not, the same way. So before fabricating we do verification, which is also known as characterization testing. Okay, basically what you have done after manufacturing, that is called as manufacturing testing. Before manufacturing, this is called characterization testing. So before production, characterization testings are used. Design debugs are verification. Okay, design debug and verification. So in design debug and verification, let's see, design can be made in 3 different modes, either by program, schematic, or layout. So like for example, layout, let us take an example where we have made in my channel there are videos okay, DSCH2 software, where I directly use the logic symbols and connected using a wire and check the MOSFETs to design that IC. I mean the logic gate. Okay, so that is the using the layout. Schematic is the similar way. Next is program. Here program, Verilog code, Verilog or VHDL, we'll write the code and we'll use the syntax like will be similar to C like that, and we can program the entire hardware. The difference between debug and verification. So when we verify any design, we may not get the correct results. So we go for some faults after verification, debugging is done. So what he's meant to say is, so if even when you verify that design, sometimes what happens, for that point it might be correct, like for that particular inputs it might be true. Okay, for example, if you design some hardware and just we give random values and check, okay, these are coming, but we for suppose there are so many hundreds of inputs and we may not give all the combinations, so we just check for random and we leave for the like unfortunately only for those values the answers was correct. But when it comes to this like debugging thing, that when we try write a code and try to get the outputs, there it might get some errors. So we just try to debug that code. Determine the characteristics of chips in silicon. Okay, uh, so why, okay, here the main point is why only silicon. Okay, because we know that actually silicon and germaniums are two semiconductor substances that can be used to design a chip, but no one used germanium. Whether actually germanium has a high conductivity when like it will generate more number of electrons than silicon, even though first is germanium is less abundant, and secondly it is high like expensive due to lack of abundance. And also the third main reason was, this is the main reason why they won't use is because actually ICs will generate a lot of heat, so that the IC should sustain the temperatures also. But the germanium has doesn't have the capability to sustain that high temperatures, but silicon does. That's why they go for silicon, even it produces less electrons. So setup failure, specification, production tests, final specifications and production tests. Okay, next, in production all fabricated parts are subjected to producing techniques. Producing technique is also known as VLSI testing. So like during production phase, all fabricated parts, that means that final output of the fabricated ICs, the physical ICs, are subjected to a producting test. Okay, so this is like they will take an IC, for example, let us take 100 ICs. Generally that value will be higher. For example, let us take some 100 ICs and I will test only 10. Okay, and I got all the 10 all the 10 ICs are working well, but we don't know whether the remaining 90 might work or not. So but they will proceed that this batch of ICs are working. So if you have tested more, for example 90, if I have tested 90 and left only 10, if I got 90 also 90 correct, even though there will be fault in that remaining 10, but like there will be less chance of failures in that 10. Okay, you have to see the factor how many are testing and how many are leaving. So in that so that is like where this producting testing comes. That is also called as VLSI testing. So that we can vaguely define it as the testing of final physical ICs. After fabrication, production testing is done. That's the same like the manufacturing testing or fabrication test or something. Production testing, all are same only. So production testing shows whether the chip is good or bad. So to enforce quality requirements, so to enforce the quality requirements, to get the like good quality of ICs, what we have to do, apply to every fabricated part. The testing set is short but verified all relevant specifications. That is high coverage of modulated faults. So the test set, that means the number of ICs that are being tested, okay, is short but verifies all the relevant specifications. Even though they are seeing only few, they will see all possible. They will do all possible tests on those selected ICs. Okay, test cost and are the main drivers. Okay, because the first thing we need to see here is the test cost. If you check more number of ICs, then more number of power will be consumed and more number of huge amount of money will be spent. right? So we need to have it a balanced way where where we can adjust the cost and the production quality. So the test cost should be less and the test time should be less. Fault coverage should be high. That fault coverage means how much percentage of the IC is being tested. That means if you take the car and the if I only check the tires, engines and left, that means it is not 100% covered. There will be a lot of other factors, the fuel, the meter, speedometer inside the car, and all the parameters should be tested there. That this is what the fault coverage means. So take a situation, okay, if you manufacture the previous thing only 100 chips and here 98 are passed the test, remaining 2 are not, okay, then we doesn't take into this is another scenario where for example they have took 100 chips. This scenario is when we need to redesign the redesign the fabrication, or redesign the circuit, or redesign the program, or redo the fabrication. That this scenario will comes after verifying this ratio of how many are passed and how many are not passed. Depending on that, they will do. For example, there are 100 chips and 98 are passed and remaining 2 are not passed, then they don't take look into the default, because only 2 have failed out of 100. That might be due to only few other parameters, human errors or something. It might occur. So but if we got 50 chips that are not passed, or this 50% of the chips, that means, so 50% of the chips are not passed and the test. So what we'll do, then they will go for failure mode analysis, that is like FM failure mode analysis, this one. So they will check the specifications again and read architecture design again and chip design, fabrics, like that. So this applied to the failed parts. So those who have passed, they won't do the failed parts, they will redo and find out that, and if it is due to the specifications, or if they found that it is due to specification, they will redo it again. So to locate the cause of misbehavior after the increment behavior is detected. So this is done to locate the cause of misbehavior, and results can be used to improve the design. After the results, what is the cause of the, after that analysis, those results they will take and they'll try to improve the design or the manufacturing process. So an important steps for improving chip production yield. So this is the process, basically the same FMA: specification, next architectural design, chip design, fabrication and test. If there is a fault occurred while architectural design, then they will verification. During the verification stage in architectural design there is a fault, then they will go again from specifications. And the same way, if the chip design, first they will check if there is a fault in architecture, then they will look into specifications. After the chip design, that design should be fabricated. After the fabricated only we can test, right? So when after the fabrication, the test is taken place for the physical ICs. Thus those ICs are being tested. If they get fault, then it might cause due to fabrication or the chip design. If the chip design is have the damage, what will do, they will read or they will check if it is caused due to architectural design or the specifications, like that. So debug is done. So long time to the market or production, because we need to see all the possible failures that will occur in an IC, and it will take some time. So even if you have designed some if you the designer, like IC chip designer, have designed the logic and the code, and even though even they have produced it very quickly, but the the analysis part will take some time. Debug is done after verification, whereas diagnostics done after testing. So this is the one difference that you need to remember when we do debug and when we do diagnostics. So debug is done after verification, okay, whereas the diagnosis is done after testing. That's it. Verification is the sense, for example, if I have write a code, because the verification part comes before the fabrication, right? So I will talk that like a code only. which is everyone is familiar. So if I write a C code for some program, and we got some error, what we'll do, we debug the code and find the errors. This is the same thing. Okay, when we try to compile, that is like a verification, we got some errors, we will compile, debug. So whereas the diagnostics is like, for example, if your car got broke down or suddenly stopped, what are the possible reasons? It might be due to fuel, like fuel is empty, or due to some engine failures. These are like, comes under the diagnostics. This is during the testing phase we'll do. Okay, this is that means after the product is finalized, being physically made, that means the car is physically made. No, after that we'll go for the test drive or something like. So then we diagnostics, like we do the diagnostics on mileage, brake, okay, stopping distance, or comforts and all. So that is the diagnostics. Next, if a circuit has failed the test, then we immediately search where it went wrong, which is known as diagnostics. This is the same thing what I have said now. Now if the testing goes wrong, diagnostic will happen. So okay, that means there's the same, when the same thing, when the testing goes wrong, we do diagnostics. So what are the some flowchart that we have the same thing in a detailed way with the failures. Okay, failures that occur in each stage. So the same thing, the customer will give you an idea in a in a matter or some statement, and they will look into the statement and determine the requirements and write a specifications, and design and test development. Okay, they will design on the test. That's the basically can't say verifying that verify. Okay, verify the design. Next, after that verification, they will go for fabrication. After that, manufacturing testing. Okay, after the manufacture testing, that means, because after fabrication we do testing, right? That is the same as manufacturing testing. And after that, the last which has passed the test, that will go to the customers. Okay, so let's go to with testing, basically from the below to top, bottom to top. Okay, so testing, a manufacturing step that ensures that the physical device manufactured from the synthesizer design has the manufacturing defect. Okay, a manufacturing step, step that ensures that the physical device manufactured from the synthesis design has the okay, that means the during the testing phase, the fabricated IC is what you call, had passed the test or failed the test. Verification, that means predictive analysis of ensure that synthesized design when manufacturing will be performed the given output functions. So during the manufacturing phase, they will give the inputs to the code or the simulation. So are they getting the right outputs or not? So design synthesis. Given an input function, develop a production to the manufacturer. So for example, design synthesis, like if I given as a plus b, okay, the function as a plus b is equal to c, then they need to develop a design to satisfy that function, input output function. Manufacture device using the known material and process. So this is like another thing, that known material and process I told you, silicon, that same thing. So validation, it is the process of checking whether the specification captured and the customer's need. So I told you this is like bottom to top, so this is the top part actually. So validation is like they will verify whether the required requirements and the customer's statement are matching or not. Okay, this validation will happen in between the determined requirements and the right specification. Between these two, it will happen, this part of validation. So difference between verification and testing. So here we can see there one thing like a specification, netlist and silicon. It's like hardware design, manufacturing. Okay, so he see as a two sectors. One is the left and one is another is right. So in the right portion, what will happen? Depending on the specification, the hardware will be connected using the netlist. This netlist is like connecting the components. In a way terms, we can say that. Okay, using wire or resistors, we connect the internal components. Okay, and then we go for manufacturing using the silicon. Okay, this is on the right hemisphere. When it comes to left sector, it is like see, before manufacturing, basically this process called manufacturing, right? So before manufacturing it is called verification. After the manufacturing it is called testing. So in the verification, let's see the 5 important differences between verification and testing. It happens before manufacturing. Okay, testing, it happens after manufacturing. Verification is done with debugging. Testing is done with diagnostics. So basically, if you remember the previous points what I have discussed, these are same things that have kept in a single table. Okay, so it verifies the correctness of the design. It verifies the correctness of the manufactured product, because testing is done after the manufactured product. So that's what. It's responsible for quality of design, and it is responsible for quality of device. So design and device are different. Design is by help of design we use we make devices, right? So that's what. Basically design is the heart of the device. So if there is a fault in the design, that it is responsible due to verification fault, and if the device is fault, then it is due to the testing. Due to means, I mean, it can be found by testing. So it is performed by simulation. Because it is software part, this verification and testing, so it is performed by simulation. And coming to testing, it is performed in a 2 steps. One is test generation and test application. So in the test generation, generally they will take an IC and just give the inputs, and test application, that IC will be used in an application that is meant for, and then check whether the outputs are coming right. So for this class, let's end here. I hope you like this. So like, share. I will upload in the next class. I will continue with this topic. So bye.